Hey, ladies. How is everybody doing this fabulous Thursday? Oh my God. How are you all doing? Please unmute and say hello.
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 Hello,
Good
ladies.
evening.
Oh, we got
Hello,
more.
hello.
Okay. I was going to say, I've heard some of y'all talk. I know we can get louder than that.
Hey,
So,
everybody.
hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Yo, everybody.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you all, as always, for joining Thrive Thursdays. And first of all, I just want to thank you all for your flexibility. Last week, we had just come back from conference, and then I had an emergency trip that I had to do across country to see my brother before he goes on deployment and to love on my brand new nephew. That's right. I have a new nephew, and I actually have a new niece that is 2 weeks old. So I'm just a proud auntie right now. So thank you all for your flexibility, because I know that typically we are here on the first Thursday of the month, but we shifted everything to the second Thursday. But don't worry, ladies, we'll be back on track next month. Okay, I promise. All right. So tonight, I promised you ladies that last year that I really wanted to expand this call. There are just so many phenomenal women that are out here that we can tap into. They have the same energy we have, they have the same tenacity that we have, and most importantly, they want to thrive just like each and every one of you. So tonight is very special. It's very special to me because I have known this awesome women for, oh my God, I have known her. She's probably going to pass out when I say this, but I've known her for 23, 24 years. It's been a long time. And it's so funny because she actually was my supervisor at work a long time ago. And she saw something in me that she just, really helped me to excel in my job. And not only did I also equally saw just a beautiful spark in her, but she became my mentor. Of course, from being my supervisor, she became my mentor. And then most importantly, she became just a dear friend. And we have been close ever since. Um, Time and distance is nothing, okay, for us, because we always pick up right where we left off, and it's never any dull moments. So this lady that I'm bringing on tonight, for how many of you all just raise your hand by using the chat? How many of you all have said to yourself, "This is my year. This is my year. I'm telling you, this is my year. I am going to push away those cookies. I'm gonna get in that gym, okay? And most importantly for us in this business, I'm gonna hit my numbers. I'm gonna recruit. I'm gonna be Hall of Fame. Some of you all who already hit Hall of Fame, I'm gonna do it again. Like, right? We said that at the beginning of January. And then February came and we were like, wait a minute, I haven't started yet. What's going on? We got here so fast. Well, tonight, ladies, I have, like I said, a phenomenal lady who is an excellent coach, a wonderful mentor, a very dear friend. And let me just give you a little bit of her background. She is a catalyst, and that's just to say the least, but she's a catalyst for leadership and transformation and empowerment. She creates change makers. How many of us want to make a change in our lives? I know I do, right? I'm constantly on that journey. With her systematic leadership skills, lean dynamics, and workplace culture. So I know a lot of us, we work from home, but we still have to create a culture and dynamic in our house because we're ladies, right? We're the ones that set the atmosphere. With over 20 years of corporate leadership training and executive coaching experience, she blends traditional mythologies with holistic models and delivers a transformational results that you definitely want to achieve in your life. She is a very dear friend of mine, excellent coach, wonderful mentor. Her name is Gretchen Griffin. So ladies, let's clap it up for Gretchen. She's going to come on and she is going to, let me add you as a pin, Gretchen. She is going to share with us. I hope that everybody got the workbook in advance, but she is going to teach us how to look back and leap ahead. Yes, you know me, you know I'm a good student, Gretchen. I did my exercises. So I am ready. Gretchen, I'm going to let you take the wheel. We can dialogue, whatever you need me to do. I'm here for you, lady.
You got it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hello, everybody. I'm so honored to be here. I just have to say, I think that the people we spend time with really change and evolve us. And in the same way that, Crystal has said that I've had an impact on her, she's also had an impact on me. And there's nothing more that delights me than just being myself, my best self, and seeing how that impacts everybody around me, my friends, my family, my teammates, the world at large. And quite frankly, right now, our world needs it more than ever. So in the chat window, I just want to highlight that I tend to be someone who likes to tune into the energy of the group and what is the message this group needs. And so the card that I pulled tonight for you all, I put in there is, I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. So often we think, gosh, we want other people to honor us and we want other people to make our priorities theirs. But the truth is, I like to say that as leaders, especially as women leaders, we have to put ourselves in the center. We have to be self-centered in the most positive way in order to get the results that we want. And so that is the card that we will anchor on. It's going to move pretty quick. It's 45 minutes. If you don't have a printed copy of the workbook, no big deal. Just have a paper and pen handy. I'm all about adaptability and we'll make sure you get the workbook afterwards. This session is interactive. I'll use the chat a lot. We won't use breakout rooms just because the time is short and I want to make sure you get as much as you need from it. So get ready to engage in the chat window, thumbs up, all the other good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and move into presentation mode. And I just want to make sure that you all can see my screen. Is that a solid yes? All right, awesome. Okay, so this is really about creating inspired balance. When we think about balance, I'm going to highlight what that looks like in a minute, but it's individual to each of us and it's a moving target. What it was last year isn't going to be what it is this year, and what it's going to be in June isn't going to be what it is today. So I'm going to get you started today, but then you're going to have worksheets to dig into and revisit later on. So I just want to highlight that. A little bit about me. This will be in the link. I also put some links to my LinkedIn and website. And I just want to let you know that if you do the 3 challenges at the end that we'll go over, because I'm all about being a catalyst for action, you'll get a complimentary 30-minute coaching session with me on the work you did. So when we think about balance, and by the way, one of my other little nuggets is I'm very entrepreneurial. I've worked in corporate America. I have my own coaching and consulting business. I'm also a yoga and meditation teacher and owned a yoga studio in north of Atlanta. So when we think about balance in our lives, we're all kind of searching for what this looks like, right? Like we're balanced, we look peaceful. But the truth is, to get to a shape that looks like this to other people, there's constant micro movements going on, and it's never this steady. In fact, what balance looks like is more like this, right? And honestly, it's a lot more fun. People are laughing. You're like off center, on center, off center. And that's why finding that inspired balance starts with doing a check-in today and then thinking about where you want to be tomorrow and then having tools to continue to do that. But the truth is, this is what balance looks like. And even in that previous picture, in order to get this still look, there are all these little micro adjustments this person is making to maintain this pose. As a yoga teacher, I can tell you that. So again, this is what balance really looks like. So we're going to spend some time focusing on that today. We're going to go over 2024. We're going to just take a look back. It's hard to know where am I going if we haven't taken a look at what we gained from the past. Then we're going to set our vision forward. We're going to map where we want to be, that kind of ideal North Star. We'll set our focus and priorities, talk about some derailers, because I don't know about you. I have derailers. It's called life. Sometimes it's me, but there are derailers. We'll talk about that. And then how to find the realigning toolkit to keep you on track. And then that close with a call to action. And we are going to look at all areas of your life, not just your business, because here's the truth of it. Who you are in your life is who you are in your business, and who you are in your business is who you are in your life. Our strengths transcend across both, and our opportunities do as well. So, we're going to take a look at all areas of your life. So, Brian Tracy, here's his quote: "A clear vision backed by a definite plan gives you a tremendous feeling of confidence and personal power." So, the key words there are vision, definite plans, right? I don't know about you, but I'm a big dreamer. I have all these ideas, and then I find I'm still dreaming the same dream next year. But this is about putting plans in place. So we're going to dive into that too. So in the chat window, I'd love for you to share just your first name, where you are in the world, one word, put 2024, one word that describes 2024, and one word that describes how you want to feel this year. So just one word. So take a moment, do that now. I'll do the same thing. All right.
And ladies, you can use a comma in between your response. So your name, your location, and one word that describes your achievements or what you will accomplish for this year. I hope I repeated that correctly.
You got it. Yep. All right, I'll get that party started. All right, and Crystal, I'm going to ask you to be my second set of eyes since I'm presenting. If you could maybe just share some of the words that you're seeing around how people felt in 2024. Let's start there. Maybe that first word. We'll start there. What are a few themes, trends, insights you're seeing?
Yeah, I see a few here. Fuzzy, chaotic. um, and I think a lot of people put this year transitional, very
Mhm.
good. Uh, focused, unstoppable.
Mm,
Let's
yeah.
see, loved, disciplined. Yeah, growth.
Yeah.
Very good.
Roller
Roller
coaster. I see
coaster.
that one. I'm
Yeah,
like, my eyes went boom.
I echo
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
been
I love it.
the
Shit
past
show.
25 years, right?
Yeah, I like shit show. That I've had years like that too. In fact, yeah, last year that chaotic shit show, I dumped, what they call it, a dumpster fire. I've had years like that. Yeah. What about 2025? What are some themes you're seeing? How do people want to feel in this coming year? What's the energy, the vibe? What's coming in?
Yeah, I see accomplished several times, inspired, uh, accomplished again, abundance, leap, very good. Let's see, what do we have here? Change, determined,
Mm,
transformation,
mm,
they're still coming in,
yeah,
faithful, prosperity,
yeah,
focused.
yeah.
Hmm. Y'all
These
ladies
are
using some
all
strong words.
It's all incredible. It's interesting because when you think about the word determined, right? it's really about your center, right? Like what matters to you, what is focused for you. But so often we're getting pulled off track left and right. And while I would love to put you in a big safe cocoon and just have you focus on you and your goals, I can't do that. But what we can do is strengthen that inner core and that inner understanding of what's really important to you so that that determination, when it meets wind resistance, which it will, you're not going to feel discouraged. You're not going to get pulled off course. So that is
Mhm.
so important. And so I really appreciate all of these insights. And I've been there. I'm right there with you as a woman entrepreneur and as a leader. It's challenging. And so here's what Margaret Wheatley said. And I really like this quote. And then I'm going to change it. So I'm going to share her quote and then I'm going to Gretchenize it, or what we call a Gretchism. I still use those, by the way, Crystal. So Margaret
Love it.
said, without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful, right? That's a pretty hard statement, and I agree with some of it. But here's the Gretchen version. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve the balanced and inspired life we desire. And so
Mm.
before we leap ahead, it's really important that we look back and that we look back with honesty and without judgment. Just like it's almost like just the facts. That's all we want to focus on. What are the facts of last year? And so we're going to do a quick wheel of life activity, and then we're going to compare 2024 to 2025 and then talk about how to make that leap. So you can go ahead and open up your workbook if you have it. If not, you can just grab a sheet of paper, draw a circle on it, and then draw 8 pieces of pie. That can be pizza pie, peach pie, peanut butter pie, chess pie, whatever you like, but 8 pieces of pie. All right. That's the first thing you're going to do. And then if you're sketching out your wheel, you're going to be adding the words around the outer edge. And as I go through them, I'd also like you to rate where you were in 2024. Again, thinking of the whole of 2024, not October, November, and December, but I want you to go all the way back to January 2024, all the way through December 31st, 2024, the year in its entirety. So, thinking about 2024, how would you rate your health and fitness? This is like your overall well being, right? So, on a scale of one meaning it couldn't get any worse, 10 meaning it couldn't get any better, and the other numbers are somewhere in between. Go ahead and give yourself a rating as you look at the entirety of 2024. So, again, you can think health and fitness. I like to think health and well being. Mental health, physical health, emotional health, all of that is included in there. Okay. So go ahead and give yourself a number. I've got mine already there. All right. And then we're going to shift down to business and career. So this would be like what you do, how you share your energy with other people in order to make a living for yourself and your family. So again, this is your business and career. Again, no one's going to see these numbers. These are just for you. 1 meaning it couldn't get any worse. 10 is it couldn't get any better, or somewhere in between. Where would you have rated the entirety of 2024? On that scale. All right. Now we are shifting down into personal growth. So, personal growth is like your own development as a human being, maybe reading books, maybe dropping into therapy, maybe going to a class, maybe building professional skills. But this is all about you, how you're growing as a human being, learning. So, when we think about personal growth, I became a grandma last year, and there was a lot of personal growth moving from a mama to a Gigi, and then how do I be a better mama to somebody who's now a mama, right? That was a lot of personal growth in that. But it can also include those types of things. 1 to 10. Go ahead and put your score in there, drawing that little line, filling in the space. The next one is finances. This is like we think about finances, it's not just about your income, but this is about how financially sound and safe you feel. Do you have the resources you need to feel grounded and safe in your life? And again, this is like, on that scale of 1 to 10, couldn't get any worse, couldn't get any better. I don't think I've ever had anybody put a 10 here because I haven't done this with anybody who won the lottery. So just saying, where were you in your finances? Again, this is for your eyes only. Okay. The next one is spirituality. And again, for people, spirituality comes in a lot of different ways. It can be related to your faith. Some people, spirituality is how they connect with other people, the ecosystem at large. But whatever your form of spirituality is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you have rated 2024? Go ahead and choose there. You can have half scores too, just in case you're wondering. It's your chart. You can do it however you want. All right. Um, the next category is called recreation. I like to think of this as fun and joy, right? They put recreation. So it's like, what do you do that brings you joy? Maybe you knit, maybe you bike, maybe you hike, maybe um, you know, spend time with friends or travel, right? Like, what are those things that bring you joy and are just fun and feed your soul? So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you have put recreation in 2024? Okay. Second to last one, friends and family. Some people are like, can I draw a line down the middle and do family on one side and friends on the other? Sure, if you want to. Totally fine because they're like, I'd be an 8 with friends, but a 2 with family, or the other way around. So, again, you're welcome to split this category and make 9, or you can just have it be one lump. And this again is your relationships with those people that are your family by birth and your family by choice. Family and friends. Where would you put that on a scale of 1 to 10? And just as an example, last year, mine off the charts, never imagined being a grandma. But it came at cost to some of the other quadrants, right? So as you're filling this out, you're probably going to notice, wow, I'm really high here. This one's moderate. Wow, that one's really low. That's normal. That's normal, right? Because we only have so much energy to give. And so when one area of our life is calling for more, it can sometimes pull on another area. So no judgment. This is just an observation. And then the last one is environment. Um, think about environment a couple of different ways: where you're living, where you're working. It can be the city, it can be your home, it can be your office, it can be the weather. So when I lived in Seattle, which I glamorized when I was living in Atlanta and decided to move back to Seattle, I was there for about 3 years. I'm like, I'm out of here. Too much gray, too much dreariness. And so I moved to the desert. But I just want to say environment can mean different things, different years, but I like to think of it as, where are you living? Where are you working? What is the environment you're in? Another example is I'm doing a lot of my work virtually right now and have been since 2020 in the pandemic. Um, People are my muse. I miss being with people. So my environment score last year was lower, not because I don't love the desert and love where I'm living, but more about my work environment, being in my corner office, not super inspiring. So just know that environment can mean different things. All right. So you have your whole wheel. It might look something like mine, right? So go ahead and connect the different sections to make this look like a wheel, right? So what does your wheel look like? Mine almost looks like a toxic sign as I'm looking at it. So go ahead and do that first to create your outline. And Crystal, I'm going to ask you the question here. If I had 4 wheels on my car, do you remember my Infinity G Coupe? Going for a ride in that? Yes, that was my fancy car I got
Yes.
myself in my mid-30s, when I had my
Yeah.
mid-30s crisis. If I had 4 of these looking wheels on that car, what would the ride have been like for us?
Oh, girl. Um, I think it would have been a little, like you said, ups and downs.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And that's what last year felt like. It was chaotic because this is where
Mhm.
my life was, right? So, health and fitness, coming off of a really healthy year, dropped, and then business and career dropped. So these are all things to think about, right? Like how one area can take away from another area. So here's three things I'm going to ask you to do now. First thing is, I want you to put a smiley face to the area you're most pleased with. And it doesn't have to be your highest rated area. It really doesn't. Maybe the previous year, 2023, you were at a 2 in your business and now you're at a 5. And that is something you're most pleased with. So, smiley face next to what you're most pleased with. All right. Next one, put an exclamation point next to the area that surprised you the most when you did this assessment. Like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. And that
Mm.
is a little bit surprising. And surprise isn't good or bad. It's just, oh, wow, kind of caught me off guard. Okay. And then the last one is a star next to the area that needs the most improvement from your perspective. This is the area that, gosh, if you really focused in it, could probably impact the other areas of the overall wheel. Because again, we're not looking to have a perfectly round wheel. That's not realistic, right? We're going to have these ebbs and flows, but there's sometimes like what I call the unlock, that if we can just unlock that one area, it changes everything for us. So first thing that I want to say here before we move into the next phase of this activity, there are 3 areas of this wheel that if you focus on them, they have an exponential impact on the other 3. So I'm going to highlight those right now. The first is health and well-being. When you focus on your own health, your own well-being, that can be again mental health, physical health, eating well, getting sleep, hydrating, vitamins, whatever that looks like for you, that gives you more energy to put towards your business, towards your friends and family, all of the other things. That's the first one that I want to highlight. The second one is spirituality, believing in something bigger than yourself. When we can tap into that, again, it just exponentially infuses everything else we do. My spiritual practice is really strong. And when I remember that, it helps me to interact with people differently, which then turns into more business, which increases my finances. So those are really the top 2 for me. The third one is personal growth. So taking time to even be here tonight, right? You're investing in yourself. It has a huge impact on every other category. So 2 of these 3 categories have to do with you, and the third category has to do with something bigger than you. And all the other stuff in between has a way of being impacted by those 3 categories. One other thing I'll highlight is that we all tend to have some areas of our chart that are always high. For me, it's spirituality. It's always high. So I really don't have to think about it, right? I don't have to be like, I need to put more energy into being more spiritual. I just am, right? So
Mm.
what can I trust in that and use energy to go to other areas where I do need to spend more of my focus? So just some things to think about there. Crystal, any thoughts there before I move into the next thing?
It's funny because one of the things that we obviously all women in business, personal growth or actually just growth in general is something we always talk about. But I think you started it off by saying, hey, how do we know if we're going if we don't reflect on the past? That is very profound. And I think the ladies would agree. If we don't take a look back, leaping forward is going to look the same as it did in the rearview mirror. So
Yes.
I think that while we think about personal growth, yeah, some people may be spiritual, some people may not be. That's okay. But one thing I tell my team all the time, you can't outrun yourself. You wake up with yourself every day. You look at yourself every day. You live with yourself every day. And so your health is very important to who you are. I can tell when a person is on a diet and when they're off a diet because the grouch meter is high, right? Or not. And
Yeah.
it affects us, right? And
Yes.
all these things do affect us. So that's my contribution, girl. Keep rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. And just knowing too, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, the one thing that always takes the back seat is my own health and well-being. and my own personal growth. And then what happens is about 6 to 9 months later, my business sucks and my mood sucks. And I'm like, what's going on? I quit taking
Mhm.
care of myself, right? And I think that happens to a lot of us as women leaders. And that's both societal as well as our own compassion and our own energy and do what we need to do, kind of energy that we bring. So just want to highlight that. In the chat window, we're not going to do the partner activity, but in the chat window, I want to hear what you put your smiley face next to. What are the things you put your smiley face next to? And again, Crystal, if you don't mind being my second set of eyes here. What did you put
Yeah.
your smiley face next to? Mm, yeah. Serene, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Personal growth and spirituality seems to be running family and friends. Yeah. Personal growth, personal growth.
Yep.
This audience, I'm not surprised. Personal growth is probably going to be very popular.
Yeah.
Family and yeah.
What about where people put their star? Where did you put the star? The area that needs the most improvement.
All
And by
right.
the way, typos are welcome here. I have a big
Yeah.
check I just did. Totally fine. Mm,
So we got a mixed bag here: health and fitness, business and career, um, finances, environment, business and career, finances.
yeah.
Finances a lot. Finances seems to be the one. That one is
Yeah.
tied with business and career. So yeah.
And I'm not going to ask you
Mhm.
to share this out loud, but I would like you to jot this down on your paper or your workbook. If you were able to make traction in the area that you put the star next to, what would be the impact on your life? I don't want you to share it, but I just want you to jot down what would be the impact on your life. And for vulnerability, I'll put mine in the chat window. All right. Okay. Thank you all for doing that. This is the first step, right? We're just taking a look back. So, as Crystal just said, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. So, I just want to say that again. We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. So, whatever your life was like last year, whatever the external conditions were, it's a reflection of how you led your life. No judgment, just an acknowledgement. Because when we take responsibility for how we led our life, we can then use those insights to think differently and to make that shift in the evolution. Because again, the derailers, the challenges, the unexpected, they're all going to be there. But if you have that strong internal compass, that strong healthy self center, then even if those things happen, our mindset can shift and we can get that feeling that we want. For me, it's about having more energy. It's about having higher self confidence. So for me, if I can focus on my area, I'll get that. So wanting to change it versus changing it has to do with me first checking in and then taking responsibility. So that is great. And that's Albert Einstein. He's one of my people. If I could ever have a beer or a glass of wine with somebody, living or dead, it's him. Because I'm like, oh, I would want to know everything. So
Yeah.
that's a quote there. So we're going to shift now to 2025. Again, you can grab a blank sheet of paper or you can turn to your workbook to the 2025 wheel. This is where it can be however you want to. So, again, think about the word that you thought, gosh, if I could just have more self confidence, if I could have more energy, if I could have more groundedness, what would that be like? So, I'm going to have you go back through the wheel again, starting with health and fitness or health and well being, working your way all the way around to environment. I'll give you about a minute and a half to do that, to go ahead and put your scores in there. And this is your ideal 2025. Don't let the gremlin in your head make you choose a smaller score. If you want a 10 in your business and career, this is put a 10 and be like, Gretchen, I only have so much energy and time. I don't care. How do you want it to be? Recognizing though that what we give our energy to means that we might have to take it away from something else. So again, think about 1 being low, 10 being high. We're not looking for a perfect circle. Just given what you have in front of you, what do you want 2025 to look like? Okay.
And ladies, I just want to say, I mean, I know I kind of did this ahead of time, but it's okay if some of your areas are the same.
Mhm.
When you agree, Gretchen, like it's okay. It because maybe that shift in focus is going to go to another area that is going to help advance you in some form or fashion, or maybe you conquer that area and it's all right. Maintaining it is okay. So,
Yeah.
um,
And like I said, there are some areas of your wheel that it's just part of your DNA. For me, that's spirituality, that's always going to be there. Another one is personal growth.
mm,
But do I have to take as many classes this year? Probably not, right? So I could take a little bit from that. But for me, that area of spirituality is always going to be high for me. Okay. All
mhm.
right. Hopefully, you had a chance to do it and you have since connected your dots. I want to highlight that my wheel is still not perfectly round. That's okay, right? But there are some places that are going to pop out as higher priorities. And now, as you look at this, I want you to imagine that it is December 31st, 2025. December 31st, 2025. And you actually lived into this intention. What's one word that represents how you will feel about your life on December 31st, 2025, as if this wheel is in motion? Okay. Yes. And again, Crystal, if you
Mhm.
don't mind being my second set of eyes.
Yeah, accomplished. That's my word too. I just didn't get a chance to type it. Balanced, encouraged. And ladies, y'all can drop this in the chat. I know it's supposed to be only one word, but girl, you did that, I
Yes.
think that's
It could be a
accomplished.
phrase. A phrase works too. That's totally fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Energized. You put that, Gretchen. Awesome. Accomplished again. Yeah.
Yeah. And the great
Relax.
thing is when you feel those
Relax.
things, it builds, it's momentum, right? Like when you're feeling more
Mhm,
relaxed, when you're feeling more accomplished, when you're feeling more energized, when you're feeling like I got this, it's like it's kind of like a snowball where it's starting to roll and it gets bigger and bigger as it goes. And the inverse is true of that as well. So
mm.
I just want to highlight like this is how you can feel, but it's going to be making some choices. So we're going to pick some priorities because if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. Because I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but I want to do everything. But trying to do everything at once is not giving my energy, my attention, my focus, my mindfulness to the one thing. So, based on what we've done so far, I'd like you to put a check mark next to the top 3 areas that need more focus in 2025. They may or may not be your highest or lowest, but they do have to be areas that you are committed to spend more time and energy on. Even if it's just a little more time and energy, but you think these are the 3 that could really unlock it. Okay. What are those 3 for you? Go ahead and put those check marks in. And for me, it's health and fitness, business and career. Those are big ones this year. After a big year of friends and family, our family and personal growth, I really need to refocus here. I get to refocus here. I know.
Are you looking at
And
my sheet, Gretchen?
you same. And the other one is friends. Because like I said, I work solo so much and I really miss that social aspect. So family is strong, but I need to give more time to friends and friendships. So being here with you all, connecting with Crystal, this is getting me some momentum here. All right. So those are your 3. Now, there is a great old movie where Billy Crystal is talking to this guy who's riding a horse, crusty old curly. It's called City Slickers. It's a really old movie. And there's a part in the movie where Billy Crystal is looking at this person who seems so happy with their life. And he's like, "What's the secret to your life, Curly?" And Curly goes, "This." And he's like, "What's this, your finger?" And he said, "No, it's one thing." And he's like, "Well, what's the one thing?" And he's like, "That's for you to figure out because no one else can do it but you." And so I want you to think, what is the one thing that if you focused on it this year could be the biggest unlock to find greater balance in your life and your business? What is the one area, your unlock for this coming year? And once you've done that, go ahead and drop that into the chat. What is your unlock? Right. And second set of eyes, my dear friend Crystal, do you mind helping me out?
Yeah, time management, personal growth, business and career, business, my environment, self-discipline. That's a good one. Time management, business and career. Everybody's got their
Mhm.
thing. Yeah. Finance and time management. Yeah.
These are huge. And having
Mhm.
that, like overall health and well being, can really fuel those things, right? So, even though I listed health and fitness as a priority for me, I know I need to focus on my business this year. It's my area, right? So, whatever you choose, totally fine. And we need to do something with it because there's this little bit of a difference between most people and us. Most people talk about their goals, but they don't write them down. And very few people actually accomplish those goals. But step one is if you write down your goals, which you all just did, you identified where you wanted to prioritize, what was your biggest priority, you are 42% more likely to achieve that goal. 42% more likely. Now, how can you exponentially increase that number to 78%? Tell at least three other people what your goals are because they can hold you accountable, they can provide you resources, they can encourage you. So, first things first, you've got to define your goals. I'm going to show you the worksheets that you can work on in between now and when we connect, and then share those goals with other people. Because if we just keep talking about the same things, but we don't write it down and hold ourselves accountable, if we don't have something that we can clearly share with other people, then people can't be an accountability coach in the best way with us. So, again, let's be different than most people. Sorry, my screen is going a little crazy here. So, let's go ahead and talk about some derailers that could get in the way of getting where you want to go. I call it the intent impact gap, right? We intend for our year to go a certain way. These are our aspirations. But then, if that's my goal, how in the heck did I get this year when I looked back at 2024? What got in the way? So, what got in the way is behavior. My behavior, our consistent and persistent action or lack thereof, AKA perspiration, right? I have an idea, but I'm not prioritizing it. I do everything else. I work on the little tasks instead of doing the big thing. I wake up first thing and I start checking my phone and my emails and I don't go for a walk or grab breakfast, right? Like whatever those things are, that is the gap between what our intentions and our goals are and what actually happens. And so it puts us back in that place of personal responsibility. So I'm going to go back to the words consistent and persistent action, not perfect action, not every day. This is just consistent 3 times a week. Persistent, like even when I encounter challenges. There's a great book called Micro Habits that get us in the mode. I was working with a leader who couldn't find time to exercise. And so, what I had him do was just for a week, sleep in his workout clothes and put his shoes right by the side of the bed, and he couldn't get out of bed until he put his shoes on, and then he could go use restroom, whatever, but then he had to at least go for a 5-minute walk, and then he could just come home, just 5 minutes. But here's the thing, once he had his clothes on and his shoes on and once he was out the door, he was walking 30 minutes, right? So whatever those little micro habits, that consistent and persistent action is really important. So we're going to take this a click deeper by talking about an analogy, and then we'll talk about 5 tools to deal with the challenges that will get in the way of you achieving your goals. So let's imagine us as a group, we're going to get one of those cool like party vans or party buses, and we're all going to go for a road trip. So when we think about planning our ultimate road trip, what are things that are important to us? What should we be thinking about? All right, so I'll put mine in here. Playlist is big for me. Oh, food. I gotta have food and snacks. What else? What else would you all say? Oh, some safety. Good. Okay. Yeah, a map. That's always good. Uh-huh. What else do we need to have?
I like the food and snacks. We definitely need that.
And a laptop so we can get those business goals. Yeah, having some money, a charger. Yeah, water.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alma, I'm right there with you with the music. Where are we going?
Music.
Brandy wants to
Mhm.
know where are we going? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so that's our intention. We're gonna spend all this time. We're like, we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have snacks. We're gonna have, good water. We're gonna have everything we need. We're gonna have a great time. We're all pumped up. We get in the vehicle, the huge fun party bus. We start going down the road, and this is what happens. We didn't think
Mm.
about getting the car checked up. We didn't do a tune up. We didn't change the oil. We didn't put gas in the car. And now we're stuck on the side of the road, right? And so this is often what happens with our goals and intentions, right? We start the year, we do this fun mapping activity. It's a lot of energy. We think about what we need to do, but we don't do the deeper work of self-care and checking in with ourselves and putting those things in place that are so important. And then we break down on the side of the road. We don't achieve our goals. And what do? Instead of looking at the facts, we beat ourselves up, which is a downward spiral for any entrepreneur. So how do we get aligned? First thing, use your GPS. And what I mean by that is knowing what's really important to you. And you all just did that. That item that you put the heart by, that one thing that I talked about, that is the thing that if everything else has to wait, that one thing needs to take priority. For me, it's my career and my business with a close follow of my health. But again, career and business, right? So know your North Star, know what matters to you, know your goal. The second thing is get a co pilot. A co pilot is somebody who's going to hold you accountable. This can be your leader, this can be a coach, this can be the small SBA, Small Business Association, or just another business owner who you know is going to hold you accountable. And when you come up with those excuses or AKA reasons why you didn't do something, they're going to listen without judgment. And then they're going to say, okay, and what can you do next time? Right? They're that co-pilot that's really going to help move you forward. The next thing is watch your speed. A lot of times when people come out of a session like today, they're like, I'm going to go do it all. And they go really hot, just like at the beginning of the year, like, I'm going to work out every day for 89 minutes and da, 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 da. They're going too fast. And they're going to get pulled over and get a ticket and they're going to burn themselves out. Just like we wouldn't
Mhm.
drive a car 120 miles out down the road, 120 miles an hour down the road. You don't want to do that in your life either. But also don't go so slow, like, oh, I'm going to think about this and I'll check back in next month. No, get some momentum. So really watch that speed, not going too fast, not going too slow, knowing when you need to step on the brake, knowing when you need to put on the gas. The next one is share the road. This is about finding other people with similar goals as you. Like all of you have one goal in common, but maybe your goal this year is around prioritization and time management. Maybe you can find somebody else who's working on that same thing because I always say who we're around and how we spend our time with other people elevates us or diminishes us. And so find other
Mhm.
people who are great at what you want to do or who are also dealing with it and you can work on it together. Don't drive alone. It's boring. And then the last thing is get a tune up. What does a tune up look like? what we're doing right now. We're checking in with ourselves. We're identifying strengths. We're being honest with ourselves, so that we know where we need to focus our energy. But this can also be about self-care, eating well, getting your sleep, doing the things that help you feel healthy and aligned. So that's how you close the gap between intent and impact. So in 2025, of those 4 tips, use your GPS, your inner focus, knowing what's important to you, get a coach, co-pilot, watch your pace, share the road with other people who are up to the same thing, or get a tune-up. Which of these 5 is most important to you? And I'll put mine in the chat window. And this is kind of an overnight. This is my overall challenge in life.
Yeah.
What do you see coming in,
Co-pilot.
Crystal?
Yeah, get a tune-up, co-pilot, tune-up, co-pilot,
Yeah.
use your GPS, tune-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for all of you, here's what I'm going to ask that you do. I'm going to ask that you finish this workbook, because in this workbook, there's a place for reflection in each of the categories, like why you rated things the way that you did, which will give you more insight and might actually change your scores. But once you've done that, then you're going to move into something where you set your priorities for the year. And you identify some inspired actions to take. And then you can turn that into a SMART goal. This is Gretchen's version of SMART goal, which is a little bit different than everybody else's, but this is what you can share with each other. This is what you can share with Crystal. This is what you can share with your co-pilots, right? So there's a lot in here. Plus, there's also ways for you to check in with yourself on a monthly basis, because 2 degrees off course over the course of 12 months is pretty far away from where you want to be. So with that, here's a quote from Sean Patrick Flannery. The reality is most people will be in the exact same place next year as they are today. That's the reality. So don't be most people. Do something that your future self will thank you for. And that's really the workbook. So next steps. 1, go ahead in the next week. So I'm going to give you 3 weeks to do this activity, right? But pace yourself out. Week 1, complete the entirety of your Look Back, Leap Ahead ebook. You can skip portions that don't resonate. This is your activity, but take the next week. So by Thursday of next week, you've completed the book. And then second week, share your 2025 life priorities with at least 3 people. It can be an email, over coffee, on a Zoom call, whatever works best, but you'll do that the second week. And then the third week, sign up for a free 30-minute leadership coaching with me. And we'll go over your plan. I'll encourage you. I'll offer you resources and support, and I'll give a link to Crystal so you can easily schedule that at a time that works for you using my scheduling tool. But that's your 3-week action plan. Workbook, share, chat with me. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Crystal. I know it was fast and furious. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it back over.
Awesome. Gretchen, thank you so much. This was wonderful. I think, first of all, let me just say this. So ladies, I know we just came from conference. We have our 6:00 call on Monday nights. It's a lot of rah-rah, right? But every once in a while, we have to stop. We have to stop. We have to reset. We have to focus. We have to center and say, okay, all this rah-rah is going to last me literally the length of the call or the length of the Zoom. And I think that quote, which it's a Gretchen, you just never cease to amaze me. You started and ended great. You started off by saying, hey, you don't know where you're going if you don't take a look and see where you come from. All right. Hence your workbook. And then you ended by pretty much saying you're going to be in the same spot you were next year. Because statistically, that's what happens unless you make the change. And so, ladies, I'm encouraging all of you to make this change. I know on my team, Undeniable, we are goal planning, we're journaling. at least twice a week in our morning Zoom. That's what we talk about. We talk about journaling, goal, setting our goals, looking at our goal, affirmations. What are we doing to get us from one point to the next? Your workbook just totally ties and brings us everything together. And I would have to say, I love the fact of the quadrants, because we talk about this a lot on Thrive. As women, we wear all these hats, and you have never been on this call. This call has been going for a year and a half, and you literally came in here and said the exact same thing that we have said pretty much every single call. We wear all these hats and we get burned out and we have nothing for us. And that, ladies, is, the cross we bear. But one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that way. We can take the time for us. There were a couple of times that we met. I gave the ladies an assignment. In the next 10 days, go pamper yourself. Remember I did that, ladies? I said, go get yourself a massage. Go get your nails done. Go get your feet rubbed on, and if you do this all the time, go do something different. Go get a hot stone massage. Like, take the time for yourself. And that's the reason why, personally, for me, my health and fitness, I was like, that's got to be high. I have to take care of me, because if I don't take care of me, then, everybody around me is not going to like me. So let's just put it point blank and simple, okay? But also my personal growth, just me being the best version of me that I can be. Gretchen, when we talked, remember I said, hey, I'm still the same old me. I'm just a little bit more savvier. I got a little bit more knowledge. That just shows my growth. And so it would really, for lack of better words, suck if, when I saw Gretchen, and I'm stuck in the same spot. Ladies, put your hand up if you've come across anybody that you haven't seen in a very long time, and it looks like time just did not do anything for them. They're just stuck in the same spot. They listen to the same music, the same playlist, they're wearing the same clothes, and it's not a good look for them. You're looking at them like, oh my God, did I get warped back to 1990? Like, what? You haven't improved at all. I don't want to be the same person. I want to be better. I want to grow. I want to thrive, right? The only way I can do that is to continue to work on myself and develop these quadrants, because each of them are very important in our lives. So, ladies, I want to open it up. I've known Gretchen for over 20 years, so I'm totally biased. I promise you, as calm as she is on this call, she is like that in life. It's almost a little scary, but in a good way. But she is just so calm and so nurturing. Is there anyone that would like to ask a question? I just want to open it up for questions, because I feel like this was very heartfelt and we needed this. Especially in the beginning of the year. It's February. We're already midway through February. Almost, we are literally in the middle of the first quarter of the year already. Can y'all believe that? But we are. It's the middle of February. So, and time is not waiting. It's moving on. So unmute yourself if anyone wants to ask a question. I would love to open it up.
I think I have a comment, more so a question. And I thank you so much, ladies, and hello, everybody. Thank you so much for hosting this evening. But what I got out of it is like getting comfortable with failing your way to success. Because when we're not intentionally doing what it is that we want to do, that we desire to do, it looks like the craziness. But then when we're intentional, it gets more rounded and more balanced. So get comfortable with the uncomfort.
I agree. I agree. Any thoughts on that, Gretchen? Sometimes we just got to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, as the mother of a grandmother of a 6-month-old baby, like, we celebrate everything. Oh, she's jumping. Oh, she's doing raspberries. Oh, she's getting teeth. Like, right? Like, we celebrate every little thing, and it's messy, and she falls down, and there's burp rags everywhere, right? Like, all of that. But with ourselves, we don't give ourselves that same grace that you're talking about, Chandra. And I just think if we allow ourselves to be messy and not get it right, then we build the capacity, we strengthen and expand our container to create the life, the abundance, the peace that we all desire. So 100% agree. And I struggle with that too. I'm like, well, I'm not perfect. I got to take more classes. Nah, just do it and learn. That's what we're all doing. And anybody who tells you differently, they're not telling you the truth.
Ain't lying. Absolutely. Anybody else like to share a comment or ask a question for Gretchen? I dropped the workbook in the chat a few times. I also put my phone number in here, ladies, if everybody is connected in the WhatsApp. I have a ladies group in the WhatsApp. I'm going to put my number again. Please text me. I'll be more than happy to add you. Throughout the week, I drop motivational quotes because, hey, we as ladies, we need that. We need to fix each other's crowns. And, I believe that whenever I post it, somebody needed it at that exact moment. Or whenever you saw it, you needed it at that exact moment. So please connect with me, send me a text. And then also, I'm going to also in that group chat, I'm going to text Gretchen's information. She has her crown. You know what? I'm going back to when I met Gretchen. She always talked about that. Hey, and this was before it was a thing, Gretchen. I think you should have patented that. Like, you talked about that. We have to uplift one another, and not just as ladies, but just as people. We have to uplift one another, right? Because I have a son here as well, and he's a young man. He needs to be uplifted too. So when we feel better about ourselves, we definitely can help other people feel better about themselves. So yeah, you're wearing that crown, girl. Don't make me go find me a crown, sugar, because I will find one. I will. These ladies know I will have that sucker on tomorrow. Okay. We'll find a crown. I don't care if it's got, but I'll get my niece's crown with some fuzzy stuff on it. Anybody else? And Gretchen, I'm definitely going to can you drop your phone number in the chat for us real quick, Gretchen? And then I'm going to also, she's on LinkedIn, obviously. And then she also has her site, GretchenGriffin.com. Gretchen, if you want to drop that in there as well. Awesome. There we go. She got it. Okay, good. You got it before I did. So ladies, you have your assignments. I don't do it too often. I don't give y'all homework too often, but I think this is a homework assignment we need. We need to make sure that we are being the best version of ourselves, reflecting, and just moving forward in the chart. Check your GPS. All right. Get your co-pilot. That's your accountability partner. And that's a big one. I'll be honest with you, because some of us, we don't want an accountability partner. Why? Because we don't want to be held accountable.
I do.
So check your GPS. Okay. We need that. We need an accountability partner. You need someone to say, hey, sis, honey, your slip is hanging. Or, hey, sis, you working that, girl. It goes both ways, right? But we need that, because that is what helps us be upright and astute the way that we need to be. Watch your speed. Don't be doing too much too fast and just running over people. Okay. Share the road. Absolutely. This is a whole forum where we are sharing the road with one another. We praise one another. We encourage one another. There's room for everyone. And then get that tune up every once in a while. We need it. Got to get the maintenance. You can't drive the car on the ground all the time. Got to get a tune up. Thank you so much, Gretchen. Let's give her some hearts, y'all. We so appreciate you. So appreciate you. I know I'd be trying to work on it. I think my heart be looking all jacked up.
Mine too. So nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me, Crystal. It's truly, truly an honor to be here.
I appreciate you. You're in a whole different time zone. So I appreciate you taking the time. You've always been there for me. So I appreciate and love you. You already know how I feel about you. She's my girl. So I appreciate you so much. All right, ladies, another Thrive in the books next month. Next month, y'all, I have somebody. This chick is fire. I'm just going to tell you right now. She is probably one of the youngest Hall of Famers in our company. That's right. She's going to be on Thrive. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned and hit me up in the chat, and I'll make sure to get you connected with Gretchen and all of our other videos. Thanks, ladies. Good night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.